Imagine walking through the heart of ancient Rome, towering marble structures, bustling markets, streets filled with scholars, merchants, and warriors. At its peak, Rome wasn't just a city, it was the center of the world, a symbol of power, innovation, and prosperity. But now, picture that same city in ruins. Once great palaces have crumbled, once thriving streets lay abandoned, and the empire that ruled the known world? Now just a distant memory. Rome didn't fall in a single night. It rotted from within, collapsing under its own weight of corruption, economic decline, and military overreach. And here's the chilling part. Every great empire follows this path. From the Persians to the Mongols, from the Ottomans to the British, each one believed it would last forever. But history tells a different story. All empires fall. And now, in the 21st century, many are asking, is the United States next? The warning signs are there. Economic strain, political division, military overreach. But is America truly following the same doomed path? Or is there still time to change course? To understand what lies ahead, we need to look back. Because history doesn't just rhyme, it warns. Empires don't simply vanish overnight. They follow a pattern so predictable, it's almost eerie. Historians have identified 5 distinct stages of decline. 1. Rise to power. A young, ambitious nation emerges, fueled by military strength, innovation, and economic expansion. 2. The Golden Age. The empire reaches its peak, dominating trade, technology, and global influence. 3. Complacency and decay. Corruption spreads. Wealth concentrates at the top. Social unrest begins to grow. 4. Internal conflict, political division, economic instability, a loss of trust in leadership. 5. Collapse. War, financial crisis, or civil unrest triggers a sudden downfall. Sounds familiar? Rome, the British Empire, the Soviet Union, all followed this cycle. And today, many believe the US is somewhere between stage 3 and stage 4. But what are the biggest warning signs? And more importantly, is there still time to break the cycle? At its peak, Rome's economy was booming. Trade routes stretched across Europe, Africa, and Asia. But as the empire expanded, its economy became unstable. The gap between rich and poor widened. The government spent more than it earned. And to keep things running, Rome debased its currency, flooding the economy with worthless money. Fast forward to today. The US national debt, over $34 trillion. Inflation, rising. Everyday goods are more expensive than ever. The middle class, shrinking. Meanwhile, billionaires accumulate more wealth than entire nations. Rome printed its way into economic collapse. The question is the US doing the same? But economic decline alone doesn't end an empire. What happens next is even more dangerous. As Rome declined, its leaders weren't focused on solving problems. They were too busy fighting each other. Political rivalries turned into violence. Corruption ran deep. The empire fractured into warring factions. Now look at America today. Political polarization is at an all-time high. Trust in the government is at record lows. Social unrest is growing. But the most dangerous sign? When a nation sees itself as 2 opposing sides instead of one people, collapse becomes inevitable. Because history shows, when a nation becomes more divided internally than it is against external threats, its days are numbered. And speaking of external threats, Rome's army was legendary. It conquered vast territories, crushed its enemies. But over time, the empire became too big to defend. The cost of maintaining its massive borders drained the treasury. Internal threats grew. Rome couldn't hold its empire together. Now look at America. The US has over 750 military bases in 80 countries. It spends more on defense than the next 10 countries combined. Decades of military conflicts have cost the nation trillions. At what point does global dominance become unsustainable? Because history has shown, when an empire stretches too far, it snaps. Here's the truth. No empire lasts forever. But some don't collapse. They adapt. The United States is at a crossroads. Will it learn from history and change course? Or will it repeat the mistakes of fallen empires before it? Can it fix its economic instability before it spirals out of control? Can it unite its people before internal conflict tears it apart? Can it manage its global presence before military overreach drains its resources? Or is the cycle of history simply too strong to break? The next few decades will decide everything. What do you think? Is America in decline? Or can it still turn things around? Let's talk in the comments.